Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Morning LifeScope with TrueheartSpeaks. I am Detra Trueheart, your life purpose generator, purpose provoker, and iSpeaklife mentor. I am here helping you get out of your own way so that you can get to the business of living. We are officially live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And so I'm also live in my group, the iSpeaklife Society. Hey, Key Beauty, how are you, lovey? And I am also live on my Facebook page. So multiple spaces. So if the internet is janky wherever you are, good morning, Ruthie. You can join me. Like I said, we are live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And so I'm live in my group, the iSpeaklife Society. And then I am also live on my Facebook page. So I am taking just a couple of seconds to share really quickly to make sure this goes out. And if you are on my Facebook page, Trueheart Speaks, make sure you share as well. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, people. How are y'all today? Type in the comments. What's shaking bacon? How y'all doing? Let me go in here to the comments and see. Good morning. Let me see here. I have a couple of screens up so I can see y'all. Let's see. Let's see. Good morning. Uh-oh. Let's see. Let's pause that. There we go. Hey, Sabrina. Hey, Deanna. Good morning. All right. Good morning. Hey, One Mahogany Doll. How are you, love? Good morning. So you all come in. We are having an amazing conversation today. Let me just put this up around this question. What are you doing for you this month? And so, you know, most of you know for about it's probably been about 5 years now, since 2016, I've been taking the first 3 days of the month off, offline. And so I still work and all of that kind of stuff, but I try to kind of detox, you know, and just really settle my mind and kind of decide like what I want the new month to look like. And it's gotten a little busy over time, and I had decided like I really wanted to get back to that, right? And so I had some stuff going on where it was kind of like a conflict, and I just decided that that time for me is important, right? And so for some of you, you know, I'll talk a little bit about that when we have this conversation around what are you doing for you this month? Because I think some of you really need to look at what you're doing or not doing. And now is the perfect time to do that, right? We are closing out the first half of this month and going into the second half of this month, next month. Can you believe like we're already 6 months into 2021? And so I think it's important for us to recalibrate, you know what I'm saying? And for me, I consider those first 3 days kind of like my tithe of my time back to God, right? Good morning, Simone Such Trends. Good morning to you all on Instagram. I see y'all coming in. And so again, if you all know anything about me, my biggest thing is helping you get out of your own way, right? And so whether it's in your faith, in some area of your life, maybe it's around your goals. So maybe you've got business or ministry goals. And, you know, in this space, I really want you to get out of your own way as it relates to you, right? I want you to get out of your own way as it relates to you. And so that's the conversation that we're going to have today. So let me just finish sharing just to make sure we're good. And I'm also going to share this on my feed. Good morning. Hey, Tamika. Good morning. All right. So good morning, everybody. I see y'all coming in. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. I think I have shared. How is everybody today? How y'all doing? Y'all doing all right on this Wednesday morning? So let me say this really quickly before I get started. Hey, Natasha, good morning. I'm good. How are you? When I actually had, now, I shouldn't say years ago, but years ago when I was doing the Morning LifeScope, I never went live when I was doing my 3 days off, right? When I'm offline, if we had 3 days, like if Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday were the first, second, and third, I was not on. And today I specifically wanted to have conversation with you on this first Wednesday of the month, simply because I really want you to be intentional around how you are taking care of you and how you are managing you and how you are putting you on your plate, right? And so as I was thinking about, like, do I go live or not? Do I wait until next week? And I was like, no, I think I want to do this every first Wednesday of the month, we will be addressing this conversation. Because what I do know, and I teach this, is repetition plus consistency equals success. And so some of us need to hear it more than once, right? And so there are 52 Wednesdays in a month. And if you only hear it once, it might stick and it might not. But if you hear it 12 times out of the year, as opposed to one time out of the year, at some point, child, you'll get it. And at some point, you'll start putting you on your plate at the top of the plate. And to some extent, you'll start removing some things from your plate that no longer need to be on your plate. Can I get an amen? Okay. So I want to just make sure that, we are taking care of us. And we are making sure that, while we take care of everybody else, we're a part of that. So let's have some conversation here around this, what are you doing for you this month? Because I'm going to be back every single first Wednesday of the month with this conversation. And so you might get tired of it, but at some point you'll start to do something different. Okay. This conversation was introduced to me a few years ago by a fellow life coach friend, mentor, Dr. Walter Sims. Shout out Dr. Sims. And he and I used to talk very consistently. And one of the questions he'd always ask me is what are you doing for you? And that's really where the what are you doing for you this week came from. So if you're a part of my iSpeaklife Society, my Facebook group, you all know that I ask that question every single Monday, right? And it's interesting because some people answer the question and some people don't. And for me, one of the things that you will learn about me is, I'm going to take you to the water, but I'm not going to make you drink, right? I'm going to give you what you need to get started, but it's up to you to take what you need, right? And jump on it. And so I started implementing that for myself. And then I said, well, maybe I can do this on the LifeScope, because I really also want to be in a space where I'm creating live space to teach you how to get out of your own way, but putting you first, all that kind of stuff. And so that's really where this conversation is going. And so as we start this month, it's literally the second day of June, second day of the 6th month of 2021. We're not even going to talk about that. But you can, in this space, good morning, Melina, how are you, love? Decide what you are doing for you this month, right? When you get your planners out and you are looking at all the things, right? Because there are all the things that have to be done. And I want you to really start thinking about, where am I in the midst of all of this, right? And so if you have children, if you have a spouse, if you have parents that you care for, and we put all of them on the schedule, we have all of the appointments on the schedule, all of the things, whatever those things are. And then somewhere along the line, you fit yourself in somewhere, right? And so this month, I really want you to be intentional with taking some time to look at your schedule. I want you to take some time to look at your calendar, look at this month and decide where you're going to put yourself on the calendar, where you're going to put yourself in this space, right? Because at some point, I shared this on, I think on my Facebook page, like, If you don't handle burnout, burnout will handle you. And part of burnout is basically burning yourself out and running yourself until like the candle is like here, and you don't have any, and you've given it all away, but you haven't given any of it to yourself, or what you have given to yourself, child, is minuscule, right? And so I want you to be thinking about how you can, and we tend to think, well, if I put myself first, like, I gotta, put my kids first, or I gotta put, my husband and my family first, or I got a child. Listen, that's why you looking crazy, because everybody else get all of you and you get none of you. Can we just keep it real today? It's first Wednesday, right? It's too early for y'all to come with your drink. I got my hot lemon water, right? But like at the end of the day, excuse me, like you get none. You get none of that. You don't get any of it. And you walking around looking crazy, walking around. And some of it is even you are, putting yourself first in one area, but not in another area, right? And so maybe you're doing really well in health, right? You going to the gym, you're doing all the things, but spiritually, like that tank is real low. Maybe you're doing really well spiritually, but financially, child, listen, you need to step it up a little bit. I love it. Maybe, you're doing well financially, but you're not doing well, mentally or emotionally, right? And so and even maybe relationally, like if you're like me, like, I feed and connect off of people, right? I feed and connect off of, connecting. And so this is really good for me, even though I can't see you, I can connect with you. But, what are the things that you need to fill your tank? Is it taking a nap? And again, we're going to talk about this every single month, because I really want y'all to get this. Like, is it maybe taking a vacation? Maybe deciding like every quarter, like this month, you may not go this month, but maybe you book the trip, right? And so it's like, I'm booking my trip for next quarter. Like, even though it's not happening this month, it's for me and I'm doing it this month. Good morning, Robin. How are you, love? And so what are the things that you need to do for you? Is it, asking for help? Is it, making sure that, for me, I'm recognizing in this space, I'm really learning to ask for help in certain areas that I really can't do things. And so what does it look like to ask for help so that you can get the support that you need? Right? Maybe you need an hour, right, to just be. And so if you have children, or if you, have, a parent that you care for, what does it look like, to be able to have support so that you can take that hour or that 15 minutes? I'm finding lots and lots of women who are just overcommitting in areas that they really don't need to be overcommitting in. And I'm finding that they're really tired. Right. And let me just say this, even in things that like they enjoy, right? I found myself, really exhausted doing ministry. And sometimes we find ourselves giving, and we feel like, well, I'm giving to the Lord. And I just don't believe that in that space that you're giving so much of yourself into the ministry, but you're not allowing yourself to be poured back into. Right? You're teaching, you're going on Sundays, Wednesday, Friday, whatever the case may be, but somewhere like it's not filling you up. Can we just be real and have real conversation today? You're working, you know what I mean? Working. And so when you're working in ministry, right, it's not the same as sitting and being poured into. There's a difference. There's a difference between sitting and spending time offline to replenish. When are you scheduling time to replenish? When are you scheduling time to replenish? And some of us will say, well, when I get around to it. And all of that is great, but sometimes by the time you get around to it, child, you done passed out. You're exhausted. You're annoyed. You don't want to look at the people. You don't want to talk to the people. Are y'all with me this morning? I mean, I want us to be in a space where we're having this conversation. I'm asking you, like, what are you doing for you this month? Where are you on your schedule? Where are you on your calendar? Right? Are you taking naps? Are you reading? Like, what is, and some of you have never been asked that question, especially if you're not a part of my Facebook group, because that's where I ask it literally every week. But if you are not, if you're really not sitting down and being intentional, like the month can go by and you can realize, like, dang, like I thought I was gonna, but I didn't. I'm really tired. Or maybe you're not tired, but you really didn't. You're not on your schedule. You're not on your schedule. You're just not. Can we just say it? You're not. So what does that look like? What does that look like for you to put you on your schedule? What does that look like? Maybe it's your prayer time. And let me say this, sometimes putting you on your schedule also means, like going to the doctor. Like we talk about like self-care and loving on ourselves. Like sometimes putting you first means going offline, right? And disconnecting for a couple of days to reconnect with yourself. Maybe it means taking walks, right? I know Melina's here, she hikes. So maybe it's hiking. Maybe it is, your prayer time, right? Really, like whatever it is, right? Melina says, I definitely take a nap when needed. I tell my family, if I'm not good, I can't be good for y'all. Listen, we have to train people to recognize and respect the space that we're in, because again, people will, they'll run you dry if you let them. And sometimes it's not intentional. Like, but people just assume that you're good. And so if you appear to be good, but you're not good, you can't fault them. It's not people's job to read your mind. It's not people's job, and yes, you'll have some people like me or, even just like friends who will say like, hey, go take a nap, child. Go tap out, go take a nap, tap out, remove yourself from the situation. But sometimes you got to know you enough to say, and you can't be worrying about what people are going to think. And you've got to just tap out so that when you tap back in, you're at full capacity, right? It's like, a cell phone where, we use the cell phone and we keep using the cell phone until the cell phone dies, as opposed to, at some point, let me put the phone down, let me charge the phone so that when I need the phone is at full capacity, right? You ever been doing something and the phone died and you're like, doggone it. Sometimes that's our lives, right? We're doing some stuff and we can't do no more. And we're like, doggone it. So what is it? What are you doing for you this month? Like, it's a simple question, but if I were to ask you, many of you would be like, I don't know. I've never thought about it. Like, ooh, I don't know. Maybe you need girlfriend time. I don't know. Like, is that something that you need for you? I'm not here to tell you what it is. I'm here to tell you just to do it. I'm here to tell you that every first Wednesday, we're going to be here and I'm going to be having the same conversation because we need to be having it. Right? And the reality is, we see these things, like there are battles like internally and behind the scenes that many of us are fighting that we can't fight if we are not fighting at full capacity. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some movements and some things that are happening. There's some assignments that are happening. There's some things that God has assigned for you to do that you can't do if you're not operating at full capacity. Right? We understand specifically that Jesus modeled making sure that in the midst of everything that he was doing, to take time for him. Child, he disappeared. He went off to a place alone to pray. He went off to a place alone. He just disappeared. And so for some of you, you just need to disappear and stop. I mean, granted, I'm not saying disappear and your kids be like, where'd she go? Your husband's like, where in the world? Like, I'm not saying that. Sometimes you do. Like, you're like, I'll be back. But I'm just saying, like, sometimes you just need to disappear and stop feeling like you owe people an explanation for where you disappeared to. You don't owe nobody no explanation. You really don't. And the people who know you will be like, oh, she probably just, especially once it starts to become, a constant part of your life. Oh, well, that's probably her me time. That's probably her time away. That's probably, right? Listen, she said, I'm out. Listen, it's important, y'all. Your mind is not right. Your heart is not right. Your spirit is not right. Your emotions are all over the place. You're feeling some kind of way. And maybe you didn't see it modeled. Maybe you didn't, you don't really know what that looks like. But I want to challenge you today, no later than by Friday, to really spend some time deciding how you're going to put you on your schedule. And it could be 15 minutes a day of quiet time away from everybody. And for some of you, 15 minutes, where am I going to find that? I don't care. Find it. Figure it out. It's not harsh. Good morning, Sharon. It's not harsh. It's just some things you just got to figure it out. Emergencies happen. You know what I mean? If somebody call you, if something happens with your car and you go in and they're like, hey, this is what's going on with the car, you got to figure it out. You're like, dang, I didn't expect that. Oh, okay, well, let's figure out how we're going to make this work. Right? I didn't have my car for 2 weeks, and luckily it was covered by my extended warranty. But if it wasn't, child, I would have had to figure it out. Some things, figure it out, and putting you on your schedule, doing for you this month is what your challenge is. What are you doing for you this month? You'll see it in the group every single Monday if you're a part of the Facebook group. But I'm telling you, I'm coming live and I'm challenging you and I'm calling you out on the carpet. What are you doing for you this month? Is it, like Melina said, taking a nap? I'm going to take a nap maybe a couple times a week. I'm going to, maybe I'm instead of, I don't know that I can, go offline for, 3 days, but once a month, I'm offline. I'm a whole day. I'm just, let's say I want to disappear from work hours, 8 to 4:30, staying until 7 p.m. daily. I talk to our doctors. This has to stop. Comp time is not enough. Yeah, I'm praying that, that God will not only release you from that, but also give you wisdom in how to manage that and how to, figure that out. Because I think to some extent, it may just be an intentional, before mental health days were a thing. I used to take a mental health day. I would get 5 personal days. And then in addition to that, my sick time is separate vacation time. Right. And so I would just take the days. I would schedule them and be like, I'm not going to be here on that day. And so you may just need to not take comp time, but you may need to take days off. And it may just be once a month. There's a Friday and a Monday you take off. Excuse me. And you schedule it in and you decide what that 5-day weekend is going to be for you. Or maybe you do take off a Friday one day or a Monday another day. And so twice a month, you've got 2-3 day weekends, right? And it's not comp time. It might be in addition to comp time, but it's time off that I've earned from working almost 12 hours every single day. Take the time. I think I'm the only one in the department since the pandemic. I'm tired of their excuses. Yeah. I think you've got to do whatever works for you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to, I don't know what the circumstances on your job where, I don't know that they can, I don't think that they can tell you can't take off. Whether you're the only one there or not, you know what I mean? No, Melina says, since the weather has been nice, I take time at lunch. I go sit by the water, no phone, just enjoy the scenery and clear my mind. And I will continue that the entire month. Good for you, Melina. I love that. Yeah, now that it's starting to get nice, child, yeah, you might see me at the water too. And the kid is going to be done with school soon. So I'm super excited about that. But I think in your situation, Sabrina, one of the things that I will say is pray about it and ask God really like how to move in that space. And then the other thing is regardless of if you're the only person there, you know, right now, I would say still put in for the time off, right? And if they say no, then, you know, I would have conversation. Maybe, I don't know who you can have conversation with. Like, I'm not gonna tell you to like go legal or whatever, but legally, like, I don't think they can keep you like that. And so my prayer is that God will release you from that whoever needs to come back to release you. I pray that you have favor. I pray that, that, you know, that they figure out how to work without you. You know what I mean? Because you can't keep sacrificing you. It just can't keep. And so, and I can sense and feel that there's, you know, some weary, they give you the time off. Well, if they give you the time off, child, and take it. Take the time off. Sharon says, pre-pandemic, I had me days where I would be alone. Can't wait to get back to that. Yeah, child, listen, you might want to just do in pandemic me days. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever those are, like my challenge to you is let's hold each other accountable in making sure that we put ourselves back on our schedules and on our calendars. We cannot show up. And my thing is in a situation, you know, like Sabrina, where her work situation is hectic for her. It's a stressful space because, you know, then she can't show up not only for herself, but she can't show up for her family because she's tired, right? She can't, you know, any of those things. So my thing is if they give you the time off and there is no fight, child, take the time off. Look at your schedule and decide every single month. Can we say every month? Every single month when you're taking the time off. And it could be 2 separate 3-day weekends or 1 full 5-day weekend, a Monday and a Friday, child, and just disappear. Now, if it might be too much for them for you to be gone 2 days out of the week, but you decide what you need. Pray about it and decide what you need and do it. Period. Right? Those of you where we're just getting nice weather, like go outside, take a walk, decide what that looks like for you and do it. I'm going to do the same thing. Like there's some things that like now that the weather is changing, like for me, even just working outside is good for me. Like I love being outside. And so I have my little chair, my umbrella, my hammock is outside. I got my little, the anti-gravity chair, my little tape. Like I have my little setup. And so for me, that's helpful. And so, but there's some other things that I really want to do that I haven't been doing. And I'm going to hold my soul to the carpet as well. Like I'm going to hold my foot to the fire. I want us to not only look well, but I want us to be well. And I want us to live well. And that's important. Right? And so whatever it looks like for you, good morning, Darnell. Whatever it looks like for you, you know, like when you look at your plate of things that you have to do, ask yourself where you are on that plate. If you have certain things, certain responsibilities, right? Make sure, and my thing is as you're doing your schedule, think about the things that you want to do this month for you and put them on your schedule first. Right? Right? Sharon says your job will try to make itself your number one priority. Listen, you have to remember that if anything happens to you, you will be replaced. Child, listen. Sharon preaching today, y'all. She preaching, you hear me? Because we have said it over and over again. Child, listen. If something happens to you, child, they gonna have to replace you. Like they can't bring you back. And that's for every one of y'all. You know what I'm saying? So, and even for those of us who work for ourselves, creating space where we can take time for ourselves so that we're not continuously showing up. Like for me, I'm creating a business where I don't have to always show up, all the time, where my business can be making money for me in certain aspects. Right? At some point, even bringing people in to do certain things that I no longer have to do. Like even as an entrepreneur, like we still have to look at it from that perspective of, I don't want to be the only one doing this and doing it all the time. Like, how can I scale my time? Sharon says, I work in HR and I've seen it. Man died and the same day they were talking about hiring a replacement. Child, listen. And the reality is that's what they have to do because they got to run a business. And so their job is not to, and I shouldn't say it like this, but to think about your life. Their job is to think about how they're going to sustain that business. It's your job to make sure that you are a priority in your own life, right? It is your job to make sure you are a priority in your own life. I need y'all to say that to yourselves. It's my job, my responsibility to make sure I'm a priority in my own life. It's nobody else's responsibility. And when you start taking responsibility and accountability for that, then you start moving differently, right? Robin says, yes, they still have to operate and you are replaceable. You're absolutely, we all are, you know what I'm saying? And so, and we're not going to be here. And so we want to be in a space where we can enjoy this time. We're not feeling, and really, in some spaces, begin to pray and ask God to move on your behalf. Like sometimes I feel like we minimize the power of prayer, but there are some things that God can do in the heavenlies that we can't do down here in this earthly realm. And, if you're in a situation, maybe like Sabrina, or maybe not, maybe just Lord, like just there's some things that I want changed and shifted. Start to position yourself for that. Start to ask God for that. And when he starts to do it, child, don't resist. Don't be like, oh goodness, I don't know about this. You ask for it. Be careful of what you be asking for if you ain't sure you want it. Be careful of what you're asking for if you're not sure if you want it. Right? But aside from that, your assignment is to decide. And most of you all are in the Facebook group. And so I need y'all every single Monday. Like, what does that look like for you? And maybe it's not a weekly thing. It's I've already scheduled my monthly massage, but I want you literally, like, how come you can't be on your schedule every single day? How come you can't be like my quiet time and my me time is from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. Like that's what I'm doing for me every single day. Some of you need to literally think about how you can actually put you on your schedule every single day. Is it 15 minutes? Like even on your lunch break, like Melina, I've decided, good morning, Makisa. I've decided that I'm going to lunch by the water, or I've decided that I'm leaving the office and I'm going to sit in my car and I'm going to have prayer time. I'm going to, whatever it is, what are you doing for you this month? We're here every single first Wednesday having this same conversation, literally for the next 7 months. Well, it'll be 6 months after today. Because we can't keep living like this, y'all. Can I be honest? We can't keep living like this. We can't keep showing up like boss ladies and behind the scenes, everybody is on the plate. All the things on the plate and you not on the plate. Or all the things on the plate and you somewhere at the bottom of the plate. So after you done ate all the things, whatever is left over is you're at the bottom of that. Not happening. So let me pray. I'm 5 minutes over. But this was a really good conversation. And I pray that you all take what I said and you do something with it. Like I don't show up to talk for my health. I really want y'all to do something about what we talk about. and if you don't, that's on you. Right? If you don't, that's on you. But for me, again, my job is to take you to the water, but I can't make you drink. I'm not going to force feed you when you've got a plethora of resources and plethora of information. Just not going to do it. So Father, we thank you for this reminder that as we inhale and exhale and start a new month, a new day, a new week, we are already in Wednesday of this new week, God, that we prioritize ourselves. And so, for many of us, that also includes prioritizing you. That's a whole nother conversation, Lord. But help us to prioritize ourselves. Help us to, love ourselves so that we can love our neighbors as ourselves. Help us to put ourselves first. Help us to put ourselves back on the plate. Help us to reprioritize ourselves back into our schedules, our plans, our planners, all the things, calendars, so that we can really be who we need to be, not only for you, but for those that you have called us to, and even for those who are just in our spaces, right? We can't be our best selves as wives, mothers, friends, sisters, daughters, employees, if we are just not our best selves, period. And so my prayer is that those who are watching live, as well as those who will watch the replay, will begin to think about every single day, what am I doing for myself today? What am I doing? And specifically for this conversation, what will I do for me this month? For many of them, God, it is an awkward conversation to have because they are not used to prioritizing themselves and putting themselves at the top of the totem pole, at the top of the list, on the top of the plate. And so as they begin to plan their months, if they haven't already, my prayer, Father, is that you will softly and gently or robustly tap them on the shoulder, give them a push and give them a nudge, God, to say, hey, don't forget to put you down on that schedule. As you're writing down the appointments and as you're doing the thing, Father, remind them that they are valuable. Remind them that they are worthy. Remind them that they are enough. Remind them that they are loved. Remind them, Father, that they are worth it. They're worth the time that they spend on themselves, with themselves, by themselves. They are worth it. We are worth it. And so on this day, oh God, we thank you for this conversation. We thank you for this reminder. We thank you for this nudge. We thank you for this challenge, because it will be a challenge for some, but we are up for the challenge and we will accept this mission. And so we honor you, Father, this day as we leave this virtual space, but never from your presence, God. Cover us, keep us, guide us, oh God. Give us a mind to serve and worship you today. Cover our minds, God. Be with us at work, God. Be with us, oh God, wherever we are. And help us to keep our minds stayed on you, that you will keep us in perfect peace. And so we thank you, Father. We praise you. We magnify you. In Jesus' name, amen. So hopefully this was a really good conversation. Hey, Tashiko, how are you, lovey? Those of you who missed it, go back and check out the replay. And then share this with somebody on Instagram. Once the replay is posted, go and share this in your stories and, share it, wherever, right? Just share it, right? Those of you are, again, on Facebook, if you're in the group, come out of the group, go into my Facebook page and share it on your pages, because listen, ladies, we need to, it's wonderful to show up as a powerful woman, but it's even more powerful to show up when you make time to replenish the power that you exemplify when you show up in these powerful spaces, right? Lots of powerful women who are overcommitted, overwhelmed, and just tired. And I don't want that for you. I want you to show up, child, and I want your power to be explosive. So I love y'all. Y'all have an amazing day today. And I will see y'all next week. More importantly, I'll see y'all next month for this same conversation around what are you doing for you this month. And I anticipate that when you show up in a month, you will have things to say about what you did for yourself. I want to see, I want to hear. If you are a part of the iSpeaklife Society, or maybe you're not, I'm going to just share this down at the bottom. You can go to bit.ly/iSpeaklife Society. If you're Instagram, you can just click the link in my bio. And I believe it goes out, it'll say join my Facebook group. I love it, Marquisa. She says, I'm showing up explosive. Listen, I need us to be showing up explosive. That's what I'm talking about. And so if you're not in the iSpeaklife Society, go on ahead and join so that every Monday you can be a part of that conversation. Like, I don't ask it, and I'm going to keep asking it, right? And I started putting myself up in there, but I've been quiet for a couple of weeks because I want to see who's intentional about putting themselves first. I want to see who's intentional about prioritizing themselves and writing it down. Because guess what? When you write it down, you commit yourself to it. And for some of you, you don't write it down because you don't really know what to say. You don't really know what that looks like. But you need to be in that group. And every Monday, Child, you need to be answering that question. Literally. So again, you all have an amazing day. I love y'all, and I will see you all next Wednesday. Have an amazing week. This is going to be an amazing month because we say it is. And take some time today to figure out how you're going to put you on your schedule for this month. All right. Take care. Love y'all.